Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Outlanders. It's episode 34 I believe, and today we're starting things off in the new part of our base in which we've got ourselves some pickle farms. Now obviously last episode I made these things and got quite a bit of pickles, and they were obviously all in preparation for a new part of our base which we're going to go to now. Well, when I say new, it's probably a little bit misleading. It is actually going to be the underwater part of our base. We're going to be putting a lot of coral in, as you can probably tell by the title of this episode. So, what we really need to do first is find out exactly how far we're going to go, fix up little holes like this so we don't have massive gaps in our area, and of course find some coral and harvest it. But before we do all that, we should probably head over to the shopping district because, as we stated a couple of episodes ago, we have a mini rebellion which we're trying to start up, in which we're trying to undermine, the leadership of our dear Mayor B-Boy / Storm. So let's get over there and start some work. Actually, before we go do that, I'm thinking we should probably do a few things back here. Now, what I'm thinking is if we make ourselves some banners, some black and white banners that emulate my skin, which you can see I've now changed back to its normal type. We can spread this around the shopping district and try and say that we, not B-Boy, should be the rightful mayor. So let's create ourselves some banners. Wait, I need a lot more than that. Like so, and some more dye would be good if I've got any, which I do not. One of the other things I'm thinking as well is if we have little stands like this, and some of them are walking around with signs, some of them are walking with banners, all of those should lead ourselves to having what looks like an active rebellion of things, and we can also put a couple of those in our rebellion HQ to just give it a little bit more of a guarded look. So I've got myself some armor, I've got myself some leather anyway. I've got myself some armor stands, I've got some heads. I think I'm going to finally dig into my collection of heads up here. You can see I've got a rather extensive head collection. I think pillager heads might be good. Let's use all but one. Some evoker heads and some pillager heads. I think they're actually all the same, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe some wandering trader heads, some villager heads, and so on from there. So we've got ourselves a rather extensive collection. Let's get back over to the shopping district and start work on actually setting this thing up. I've got to say that these things are going to be really annoying. I don't have any buckets on me, I don't think, so now I've got bad omen and I can't get back to my base for a little while, which is going to be very, very, very annoying. Okay, so I think I've got all the things that I need, so let's put some armor stands here and here, and of course they don't have the base plate because that is the way they look. Now, how am I going to get the head on? Maybe I should put the armor stand here, put the head on there, and I should be able to push it down and a bit to the left, I think. So I need to get some dyes, I think, to do that. So let's make sure we get this one on dead on center. No, wait, that didn't work. Let me see, we go like so. There we go, sort of okay. So we just need to get some dyes and then we can adjust these things. And I've been incredibly stupid and gone to my base while there's still a bad omen on me. That's going to be really annoying. But thankfully, I think I've got all these things closed, so it should be relatively easy to mop up. That is a little bit weird. The raid just ended. Like, I killed off 3 or 4 of it, and then it started loading again, and then stopped loading. It's just a little bit weird, sometimes a little bit buggy, but I suppose it doesn't really matter. The raid is finished, and we can get on with what we were doing. Well, it took me a little while, but I think I've got the heads right and the swords right. I'm probably going to adjust these a little bit to get the right stance. But, let's see, something like that should do. And then, of course, the head will remain where it is. Now, for the second part of my plan to work, I do need these banners to be able to stay named. So let's see, what if I say, Max is rightful mayor? No, I need to make sure that Cap's mayor, Mags is rightful mayor. Now, what happens if I put the banner like that? Does it remain? Does it say anything? No, it does not. Okay, so that isn't going to work, I think. Where did the banner go? There it is. And you can see, yeah, it just stayed like that. So, we've got a bit of a problem. How do we get these stands to stay while doing this? So maybe I need to get another armor stand or two and get these guys to bear the armor stands. I'll see. So I've got my first protester here. I'm not exactly sure what pose to put him in, but I think that one would do. I also did discover something, that the pillager head, the evoker head, and the vindicator head all are slightly different. They all have slightly different eyes, and they do have a slightly different color. So I've put a blue-eyed one, which is a pillager head, no, a evoker head there, which I think works pretty well. So I think that works well, although he does seem to have really weird bottoms of the pants, but whatever. So let's get a few more of these in, and that should do us for the time being. While I'm doing that, I probably should go over some of the things we've got. So we've got ourselves a plan. We need to make ourselves mayor. We need to make Mags mayor again. Disrupt BY. Just put protests everywhere, hence these armor stands. Spread the weed, which is all those plants in the store, one of our stores, or mirror store to be correct. And spread random greenery. So we do also have some, where is it? Not in there. We've got some jungle logs, and we got some leaves, I think, somewhere here. So what we're going to do as well is we're going to put a few random plants out around and see what the mayor makes of them. And they're just going to be in random spots. So let's get on some of that as well. I reckon here is an ideal spot. So if we just go up and go like this, and put a few more around like this. So we want them reasonably tall, so they are a little bit of a disruption, but still rather easy to clean up. So they're just a bit of a nuisance more than anything else. So something like that should do. I actually like the placement of this one. It's a little bit annoying, and I reckon that it would be a little bit annoying to get around, and I think B-Boys or the mayor is going to have to deal with this. Okay, so I've got about 6 or 7 protests about, and I've got a few bushes everywhere that are a little bit annoying but not really disruptive. So I think that's going to be it for that part of this part of today's episode, and now we can get back to actually building our base. So, as mentioned, I do want to make this thing into a bit of a coral reef. I am probably just going to keep it the same height as it is now, so I'm not going to adjust this to a lower height or bring this up or whatever. I'm just going to keep it the same height, which does mean that this outskirts bit is going to be completely sand or something. I'm going to have to work that out at a later date. But for the first time, I'm going to have to go get some coral. Now, I believe there's some coral, of course, near the shopping district, which is a little bit annoying since I just came back from there, but that shouldn't be too hard to go and get if I don't die from falling, and if I can work out which way the shopping district is. It is this way. Well, here it is, and just as Char pops in, I have quite a bit of work to do. I do need to get myself some more pickles if I can, some more, and a heck of a lot of this kind of stuff. So, I think I'm going to try and get about 5 to 6 stacks of each if possible, and go from there. Well, I'm back at my base. It took quite a bit of time to get all that stuff, and I have gotten myself quite a bit of coral and coral fans, a fair bit of sea pickles, extra sea pickles that is, and of course 9 stacks of each. I decided to go full ham and just go with a lot. So 9 of brain, 9 of bubble, 9 of horn, and let me see, 9 stacks of tube, 9 stacks of fire, and I did stick in some warped wart, because I think some cyan to go in with all of this would be a good colour. So, I'm going to quickly sleep, maybe. Let me see. If I sleep, do you mind if I sleep? And see if Storm is okay if I sleep, and then if they are, then I will sleep and get on with today's business. Okay, so now that I've gathered all that stuff, I'm going to start with, let's see, some red stuff, and I'm going to get some sea pickles, some bone meal, and start doing this. So I just want to do a scattering of these things all around, but I also want to make sure that they are visible from at least this second layer. So I'm going to do a little bit here. Let's see, just something random, something like this. Oh, there's a little cave down here. Anyway, we're going to do something like this and just go up, and something, I need some other blocks as well to do this. Something like that, and then get rid of this block here, and that we have a coral. So if I also bone meal some of the other area, you can see we'll get some horn and some fan corals near. I'm not sure if it'll always be red, but we shall see. So I do need to fix this up first, and then I'll go back inside my base and see how that one looks. Actually, wait, no, I need to also put some sea pickles in, so this actually is lit up. So if we put a 2 here, 2 there, 2 there, I can't really tell the difference because I've got conduit power, but this should hopefully be visible. So let's go and see. And looking at that, that's actually not too bad. I probably should put a little bit of sea pickles on top of the coral so it's a little bit more visible, but otherwise I think I'm pretty happy with the way that's starting to look. Okay, so with that in mind, now that I've got one in, I think what I'll do is empty my inventory of stuff, or at least the hotbar, and get one of each, a stack of each, and go from there. So that's 6, and then I'll worry about the sea pickles afterwards. I think I'm learning that coral reef design is not exactly the best thing that I'm best at. Well, it took quite a while, but I've got myself a reasonably sized coral reef. Now, I can't help but feel I have overestimated how much coral I needed. I do have still quite a lot of coral left to go. So if we just come up here for a second and peek into these shulkers. Come on. Up we go, there we go. So you can see I've still got 5 stacks of each, so perhaps my early estimate of 5 stacks when I was gathering the coral was better. So I think I now need to put in a whole stack of sea pickles. Now, one of the earlier things I did discover is that the 4 actually lights up a lot better than the 2, so I think I might try with 3 actually, see how they go. 3 there, which does mean I need to take that off and put 3 there, and so on. So do a little bit here around here, see how they go, and I want this to be reasonably well lit so I can actually see everything that's going on. And having a look at that, I think that's a lot better. I'm not convinced the pickles on top of the coral is good, but other than that I think it's starting to look okay. So it's time for another short or long cut and we'll see in a few seconds, for you anyway, how this looks. And so after a couple of hours of placing a little bit more coral and a lot of pickles, I have got myself a reasonably sized coral field. Now it just goes through about 10 or so blocks outside my base as this glass circle, which is probably not quite what I want. So over the time I'm going to be looking at this and probably expanding a little bit more. Now partly the reason I haven't done it yet is the sea pickles. I've completely run out of sea pickles, and these farms that are over here somewhere are not the most efficient. So I might need to rip these out again, even though I just built them. I might need to rip them out. There they are. Rip them out and put some new ones in. And I've decided to take a look at this from the air, and I think that looks very, very good. There's a few bits I do want to improve on. I do, of course, want to make the coral field go even further out with even more pickles. But let's have a look and turn around and look. But I think that looks very good. It certainly highlights the dome and the cylinder itself. So that is a very, very brilliant addition to the base. And after all that, it is time for me to say goodbye, because we have reached the end of today's episode. Thank you very much for watching. It is a little bit shorter than normal, but I am going to be experimenting a little with the length of my episodes. Some will be 15, some will be closer to 20, and we'll have a few in between those lengths. So once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.